All right, so welcome back. We are going to be back doing some more stuff regarding program design for lifting. Again, not expecting it too many viewers. Was really surprised with the amount of viewers we got last time, but I figured if I want to incorporate and start being branched out a little bit more and a little bit more general, that this was a reasonable shout, especially because I could kind of combine everything on Twitch a little bit better. Obviously, the YouTube channels are being kept separate because we don't want a bunch of VODs of like me talking about lifting or lifting stuff interspersed with Victoria 3 stuff. But today what we'll be doing is we are going to be taking a look at the old notes from the brainstorm that we made. And then we are going to be, I decided to use this old Upswing program that I had designed quite a while back, and we're going to do a modified version of it as our kind of a template for programming. It's a 9-week program, but 9 weeks that are 10-day weeks. We're going to stretch them out to 14-day weeks because we're trying to get back in the swing of things, and I don't think it's necessary to push ourselves to that extent. We will be doing, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be, see this is day 1, at the bottom there should be day 10, we're going to make that day 14, so it's effectively 2 weeks for every week, so it'll be roughly speaking a 20-week program, and so that's going to be the idea. I'm going to be doing it while cutting weight though, so not expecting to hit any new maxes, but this is what we're going to be doing today. So starting off, we're just going to read through our initial brainstorm, which is kind of where we're coming from in regards to philosophy and this type of thing, and also has a bunch of exercise selection stuff that we're going to be using today for redesigning the program. So, an old goal of mine, which I don't really think is that great a goal anymore, was an 11 times bodyweight supertotal, which is squat, bench, deadlift, plus clean, jerk, and snatch. I think I've stayed committed to it because I've had it for so long, and so, like, don't want to give up the old goal. Like, I made this goal when I was, like, 18, and so, like, that's nearly half my lifetime ago. And so, you know, like, over 10 years. So, instead, I think that we need to place more emphasis on, like, rotational strength, and that's, like, where the one-arm snatch and the bent press is coming from. I think I have about 3 to 8 years left of getting a lot stronger or being able to push lifts that I've already been pushing for a decade plus. I think I can definitely get stronger on stuff I've never done before, but that's kind of, I think, it. We want to do asymmetric lifts, and coming off an ankle injury, and so, and also going to be walking to the gym. So, I got an ankle brace. It seems to help out a lot. Also, the ankle's starting to feel a lot better anyways. And so this is why we're thinking not this week, but next week, we're going to start whatever we design, this program, we're going to be starting that next week. So on next Monday, we will be starting it. And we being me. But I often speak in the we as in the, I'm sharing what we're talking about and this type of thing. Principles, so instead of being this like 11 times bodyweight supertotal or whatever, just lean and generally strong. The supertotal paradigm doesn't comport with, you know, caring about asymmetric strength at all. So, I think that it's going to be, we're going to be, like, we don't end up caring about stuff like the bent press, which I think we should be caring about. And so I can provide a little bit of an example for someone who's never seen a bent press. Let's make sure that we don't play any of that, but this is me doing a bent press. This is my best bent press ever. It is looping. And this is with 200 pounds, and the idea is you get it overhead, but really what you're doing is you're holding the weight in place, and then you're twisting underneath it. You notice the weight itself is not really moving. It doesn't really move that far up at the initial point. Instead, you're just keeping it in place, and you're just trying to lengthen or extend your arm by rotating away from your arm. And so this is mainly, it actually doesn't even hit your shoulder that hard once you get like better at it. It still hits your shoulder like in terms of stimulus, but it's actually mainly obliques and like lats and like hips and this type of thing. And so yeah, and then someone suggested waist to forearm ratio. We're also going to try and blast the forearm size. We did get a measurement. We're starting off at 14 and a half here, which is like average for men is like 13 or something like this. So we do have, you know, bigger forearms, but Okay, and then we're gonna doing home stuff for like cardio, and then secondary goal is mobility, just being able to move through range of motion. This will increase longevity and is generally important for doing stuff like this because most people like aren't necessarily able to like rotate between their legs a little bit. With that going on, and then waist to forearm ratio gets me. And then so action plan, we took some measurements. We don't really have a prehab routine kind of set out. I guess that will be part of what we are doing here. And then home workout also focused on forearms, cardio, and volume. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 4 days and add a single workout at the end, I think, at the 14th day. So we're going to make it Monday, Wednesday, Friday that we're working out. So we'll do that. We still have to do some knees over toes research, and we might end up getting that in this week, or I guess we could do it on stream, depending on how long we want to go on the stream. And then weight loss commitment systems. We've already been cutting for I think like a couple weeks now, and we're down like 8 or 9 pounds. Not trying to cut super aggressively at this point, just trying to like put systems in place and not like I'm like not counting calories yet or anything like that, and this stuff will be thing. We also talked a lot about supplements on stream because that's what some people were interested in talking about, and kind of gave the idea of which supplements I think are best. But I think currently I'm only taking multivitamin every day, so I think currently I got to get back in the swing of supplementing a little bit more. At the very least, supplements kind of expensive, so trying to be cost efficient on that. And then walk after meals, we're doing that. Weight loss commitment systems, doing that. Greasing the groove. We could probably make more systems. This is something that was introduced by Pavel Tetsuni, however his name's pronounced, or like popularized, or this is where I heard about it from, where the idea is that you are going to do certain movements with really, really light weights because we're training for 9 different lifts, right? And some of these are highly technical. Doing stuff with really, really light weight will make it so you can stimulate the neurological elements without overwhelming, the physical elements, because almost everything uses shoulders, so you end up getting like really, really hung up on doing on the shoulders being a little bit of a problem. So, and then let's take a look here. Okay, and then okay. So here we have our exercise selection, and we're going to be consulting this a lot, so I don't think we need to go into it. But we have stuff kind of just a bunch of ideas for a bunch of different spots that we're going to be incorporating today. Hey, why don't you implement a subscription system on YouTube and not leave a link to the Twitch? Do you prefer YouTube over Twitch? So YouTube's kind of more where I'm coming from initially. I don't necessarily have a preference of YouTube over Twitch. I think I want to get some amount of emotes in before I do the subscription on YouTube. And Twitch is a little bit more of a trial thing, although we have a few emotes. So on my action list of like what I need to do for like YouTube and like Twitch and content stuff is making a list of emotes that I want to have, and then finding someone to make the emotes. But currently we only have 3 emotes on the Twitch, and I wanted to do a little bit better on that. Maybe I should just like put it up on YouTube. Another problem with the YouTube is that I have 3 channels. I would like someone to be able to subscribe and be subscribed to all 3 channels. And I don't know if that's a thing. I guess I should put that on my action list. See if there's 3x subscribe on YouTube possible. I don't want someone to have to subscribe to each one. But I do think I linked the YouTube on the Discord. I also have to link up my Discord and my Twitch. Yeah, that's kind of the reasoning at this point why, maybe I should just implement it. I just didn't want to implement it initially, and then Twitch just forces you to allow subs, I think, as soon as you monetize. Or I guess I could turn it off. I guess I on YouTube I have to turn it on, and on Twitch I have to turn it off. But let's get started here. Now, I know the week starts with Sunday, but we're going to start our week with Monday. So, and then we are going to be mainly, I think that I like the idea of working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, also having a regular, like, workout schedule. So, with this old system, 10 days, this means that the day I would be working out would constantly shift, which I think is theoretically better, but we're just looking to, like, get something in, and programming around streams is quite a bit easier, if... Oop. Could we not do that? Programming around streaming is much, much easier if we have regular days that we're both streaming and working out. Okay, so I think Saturday is off and then Sunday. But we didn't want to work out. Oh, is it every Sunday we're working out? Yeah, okay. So I guess we're introducing 4 days and 4... No. We've already hit our first thing. So we wanted to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, but we're going to have an extra Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, I guess this works. Okay, this works. I can count. I swear to God. And then Sunday we're gonna have to make a new slot for. And we'll pull like one of the cells from back here. We'll just pull this, copy it, bring it over. Not like that. And we'll make ourselves some space. Alright. So that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. This is going to be a lot of just like going through the Excel stuff. For the program design, I don't know how interesting this is to people. Suppose if people are profoundly disinterested, we might not do this on stream, but you're doing push-pull leg rest day split, which you really like, but somewhat annoying that it drifts across weeks. Oh, is it like more than a 7-day week? Hey, Jabbo Jangles, how's it going? Thank you for the follow, Sebastos Fig. Much appreciated. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize. Here, we'll do Tuesday. Ooh. Not sure why that. What the hell? Is it not showing? It's just showing up here. Is that a setting I have on this? Whatever. Why is it invisible? Ah! What? What the hell? Okay, I don't know what's up with these cells. I should be able to, like, infer that it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is fine. And so maybe I just don't need these cells. Alright. Don't know what's up with those cells. But we can infer. Hello, how's it going? If I subscribe to Tier 3 on Stitch, will you make a sticker with a Russian flag for Tier 3? Probably not. No, I would not have a Russian flag be my Tier 3 sticker. I apologize. I don't think I would have any singular flag be Tier 3. Because I think there's like ways to get the flags anyways. And also I mean maybe there's a world where like I would have a Ukrainian flag, just because, like, I've given a lot of support for Ukraine, but, like, I would never make that a tier 3 thing. That would probably either be free or tier 1. More or less correctly pronounced. Okay, good. Just a 4-day rotation, so rest days drift from Saturday 1 week to Sunday the next, etc. Oh, and you're doing, like, every other day? Yeah. Good to see another Paradox game plus Weightlifter enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, I'm super into the lifting of the weights. I mean, I guess we could show off some more of our lifts as well. Thank you for the follow, Jabba Jangles. Oh, the sub. Thank you for the tier 1 sub, Jabba Jangles. Yeah, I don't think I want to. I would want the. I don't have an idea for a tier 3 emote at this point. I would have to make it look really nice. But thank you for the 3 gifted subs, Ruskov. Much appreciated. Thank you for the... Oh, man. We got a lot of subs in here. You gave it to Vel Virtual, Velozin, 4AFK player. Much appreciated. After avid YouTube watcher, just saw your pseudo on your Twitch feed. Yeah. Hype train. Big hype. Don't use your mom's credit card. Alright. But... much appreciated. Thank you guys so much. So let's see. Let's make this Monday, Wednesday, Friday again. And then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. Yeah, also, like, regarding the flags, I, like, generally have a commitment to, like, humanism, which is, like, the general appreciation of, like, all of humanity, and I think that, like, nationalism gets in the way of that, generally. Alright, so, now we're gonna have Sunday in here, in the mix. I mean, we could do, so actually, we probably want to do some sort of prehab routine on the other days, but I guess we can worry about that later. So now we have a 2-week week where we're getting through the entire rotation we want to get through, and so we'll be squatting heavy once every 2 weeks. And then we will be deadlifting heavy once every 2 weeks. So the frequency is going to be really low on some of these, but yeah. Or at least the Russian Imperial flag. I'm not gonna... I appreciate the support, but I don't think I'm gonna... But I don't want to have... I don't think I want to have any flag on my thing. Unless it's like a flag that's not associated with a specific nation or thing. Or not thing. Every flag's associated with a thing. But it, like, I mean, I could reflect on it more, but I don't think I'm taking, like, requests for the emotes specifically, unless I think a wide variety of people are going to use and enjoy the emote. And I don't think that's necessarily the case with the Russian Imperial flag, you know what I mean? Like, the 3 emotes we have currently are the free emote, which is just my icon, which I think is good for me to allow people to spam. There's a really bad lad car emote, and then there's a mummy thumbing a pie emote. And the mummy thumbing a pie is AI generated, and it's difficult to see what's going on. All the emotes are difficult to see what's going on. And so I think what I want to do is I want to make a list of emotes I want to make, but this will be associated with the flags of Victoria 3. I suppose there's maybe a world in which we would make every Victoria 3 Great Power starting flag, and plus Ching, an emote, but I don't think that is as likely. I suppose we could do it, though, considering we need more emote ideas, but... Alright, let's get into some of the design here. So I think that we're probably not going to touch the Oli days very much. The only thing we would touch on them is the accessories, but these are all just Olympic accessories. I don't have an opinion on the snatch high pulls or like this type of stuff. I don't think I have an opinion on any of this stuff being worse. And so the Monday, what we're going to change, the only thing we're going to change is going to be, or we're mainly going to be just changing accessories. So like lat pull downs, we would want a pulling thing. We don't hate lat pull downs necessarily, but I think that we want something else instead of lat pull downs. So, that's not what we were looking for. So do we have powerlifting accessories? So we have bench shrugs, lat pull down shrugs. When I go RDL. See, for pulling, we don't hate lat pull downs. I know that we want to include also, we don't want to add extra sets. It's already a lot of sets. But at the same time, lat pull downs are probably just not as good as, I'm blanking super hard right now. I can't remember the name. You start off the ground. It's like a bent row, but you always start from the ground. You never like have it couched, and so what's the name of those rows for weight? It's for the weightlifting specific. Pendlay row. That's it. We're gonna put pendlay row instead. And I guess we could show people what a pendlay row is. I mean, it's basically just a bent row where you're, here. I mean, this is what we got when we searched for it. But it's basically you're just starting from the ground every time. This guy's, it's too close to his shins. It's supposed to be further out. And it's supposed to be further out, like in front of him so that it's perpendicular to the floor. And if you're perpendicular to the floor, it makes pulling the weight a lot harder. It puts a lot more strain on the posterior chain, or a lot more muscular requirement on the posterior chain. And so it requires you to maintain that tension, and then you pendulate. When you do a pendulate row, you do it very explosively. Here, we can maybe... How to do pendulate rows. Although I guess it's risky for me showing, like, whatever the thing is. But you see how this guy's is perpendicular. It's not super close. And then you want to keep everything really, really tight. And it's about being able to maintain position through, like, a ballistic pull for weightlifting. And so it's like, it's a weightlifting accessory. And so I think that this would be a little bit better for us than lat pull downs. We also get to hit the lats quite a bit with bent press. You usually just do 3 different things per muscle. Yeah, so we usually try to do between 20 and 30 sets a workout, because this is an amount that I generally can kind of recover from. But like I think that, so here's the thing is, like, some of these sets will be semi-warm-up sets, and so it's not truly, like, 5 sets, and maybe I should just focus more on getting volume in with the primary exercises. 5 sets of 2? Oh, I forgot this is an undulating pattern. We're not going to probably do 500 pounds exactly. We're probably going to do it based off a percentage, but also, here, let's kick this out. For everything, because we're just coming back, we're going to use 65% of our 1 rep max for calculating anything. Also because we're walking to the gym. And then every week, we're just going to add 3%. And so we're going to use 68% here, 71%, 74%, 78%, 81%, 84%, 87%, 90%, something like this. Let's deformat this. Alright. So it's not going to be 120%, it's going to be 65% of 120%. You instantly joined on a spreadsheet and bam! Yeah, basically. It was a rookie mistake. So we've made one swap already, the pendlay rows. We actually really like the bench shrugs. And so this is like, so bench press, your shoulders are retracted, you pull the weight to yourself, you push. Bench shrug, you don't have your shoulders retracted, and then you start with your shoulders retracted, but then you like shrug the weight up. And so it's just about this movement of being able to bring your shoulder forward, but in an isolated way. And so, yeah. We could also introduce lat pull down shrugs, which I don't think are in here. So maybe we add those. Don't want to add too much volume, but here. We'll add these in here, and then we'll just use the same thing we have here. Just a little bit of an accessory thing. Let's add sets. Okay, so we got bench, which is fine. Bench shrug, fine with this as the accessory. We have pec flies. So I think that generally speaking, we maybe want to bench a little bit less and do more pec flies because we want to get more chest stimulus without getting more shoulder stimulus. But I see that we have, you know, a couple sets here. And then low bar squats. My squat form is starting to merge such that I'm not sure this is necessary, but this is just like with a nothing burger amount of weight. And so I think it's fine. In theory, I think I want to do these way up higher though. Or maybe I'm coming back to do bent press at the very end here. Maybe this is fine. Dumbbell windmill could almost certainly be better though. Okay, so we had forearm accessories. I don't think I like dumbbell windmill. I think I either want to hit the obliques really, really heavy. So windmill, for those of you who don't know, for dumbbell windmill, you have the ball overhead. You touch your foot, or you touch the ground, and then you come back up, right? And this is a good accessory, or it's a somewhat good accessory for the bent press here. You love pull-up shrugs? Yeah, so pull-up shrugs, same idea, right? You're like extended, and then you retraction you have here. But here we have, like, you can see how coming down to touch your toe and hitting the oblique in that way is going to be useful. And we do want to hit... You know what? I think that on Sunday we can do oblique stuff. So I think that we maybe don't need to do this here. And instead, I think we could do something else instead. It's only one set on each though. This is super conservative. Maybe we keep it. Okay, I think we keep this. And so what's going to end up happening is we're going to be kind of coming through, and each of these weeks we'll notice that we have basically the same accessories, so we're going to make the same adjustments a lot here. But just kind of taking a closer look at this as we did last time. Yeah, I think that the movement of the shoulder within the socket is so disgustingly under-trained by people, and they only end up hitting like this like kind of phase, right? Is there what? Are flags already a generally emote on Twitch? I was just thinking about Ruskav's request, because Ruskav, I think that you already have access to flags on YouTube, right? Maybe he's not here anymore. Just thinking about that. Okay. But is dumbbell windmill the best? See, we have a heavy kettlebell. We can do side bends. We're going to change this. We're going to change it to a kettlebell bottoms up press, which... This is a kettlebell. This is a bottoms-up grip. Pretty self-explanatory. It requires a lot of hand strength to be able to press in the bottoms-up position, and we're going to be trying to do it. You want it on Twitch specifically for Tier 3 sub? I think if we made the flags, they would be much lower tier on the things. But yeah, the Twitch general doesn't have the thing. So let's do that. So Friday we have tall snatch. We're probably not gonna, as a weightlifting day, we're probably not gonna make too many adjustments here. The only thing is back extensions, I think, would be better if we are doing something that's helping with mobility more. And I think that we could do single leg RDLs instead. But we'll keep the rep scheme and this type of stuff the same. Is dumbbell windmill like Lou raises? Like Lou, the shoulder ones? No, dumbbell windmill is not like Lou raises if you mean the shoulder ones. Like Lu Xiaojun or Liu raises. I don't know about Liu raises. You're warned to train up your shoulders, especially rotator cuff muscles before adding weight. Yeah, like a lot of people have like tendonitis and like shoulder problems because of the bench, and like I do not have that. Of course I have shoulder problems for other reasons, but yeah. Okay, maybe actually we go across though, and we do the weeks all through, and we make all the adjustments. Sure, so let's do this. And then we want to do 68% of 1 rep max. Here, let's make this 65. That's what we'll be using. And then here we'll be doing 68. With the few kilo plates. Yeah, so the Lus are way different. Windmills, you have the weight already above your head, and you come down and you touch your toe. Your training consists of 5 to 6 kilometer run on the treadmill, a couple sets of deep explosive squats with 60 kilos, parallel bars, and 30 to 45 minutes on the... That's a lot, too, though. So this is training I can get done without, like, the run. Like, the run would, like... I'm also really heavy, so, like, running 5 to 6 kilometers is, like, really rough for me. But I'm going to be walking, like, 3 miles, which... How many... Well, I guess I shouldn't say exactly how long I'm walking, but... in miles... Just because I know freedom units. Oh, 5 to 6 kilometers, like wait, what? Alright, here, let's just 6 kilometers in miles. Okay, so that's 3.7 miles. Yeah. That's pretty far. You weigh around 100 kilos. Yeah, so that's just like a much different type of workout, because like most of the time on these sets, I'm just like sitting there doing nothing because it's between sets. Well, not these ones because it's every minute on the minute, but yeah. What are we optimizing for? We are optimizing for, we're kind of training for generally strong in terms of 1 rep max, looking at 10 lifts, which are the Supertotal lifts, squat, bench, deadlift, snatch, clean and jerk, and also 1-arm snatch, bent press, and Turkish get up. So this is kind of what we're optimizing for 1 rep max strength on those things, but it's like a 10 lift total instead of like a normal like 3 lift total type thing. Okay, so here, what adjustment did we didn't make any adjustment on the day 1, so we'll just keep that. And we'll delete this, reformat the cells. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and we'll do 71% 1 rep max. Here, let's do this. And then the accessories are going to go away towards the end of the program, so... We could actually probably take a little bit of a bigger jump here. Because this is after a deload. Actually, that's maybe a reason to take a bigger jump on the previous week. Let's do 70. Well, how much heavier do we want to? Do we want to be at 90% or 94? I think 94 is good at the end. So we'll do 93 here. So this will be 76. And then this next one will be 79% of 1 rep max. And then this week, the week before the deload, we'll do 84% of our 1 rep max. And if we have too much problems, we could just like get rid of it or like not do it like that. Assuming that we're not going to. Right, so 79 to 84. And we should be getting our strength back at a decent clip here, so... and then here we'll do 87% 1 rep max. Also when we're cutting, like, when you cut, you just, like, lose strength. So we don't want to be on 100% of our 1 rep max at the end, because I'm hoping to... I'd be ecstatic if I could hit my best ever after wall cutting weight, and... The cutting weight's definitely going to be the more important thing, so at least right now. Because we want to be strong relative. Oh, and then we could end on exactly 95% on the final week. Yeah, okay. I think we're cool with this. 90% 1 rep max. Yeah, right now I weigh about in kilos. 145 kilos. Just, no, 147 kilos, something like this. Or like 326 pounds was what I was this morning. Alright, just taking a look at it, I don't think I've seen a single one of these that I really, on the A day, I guess we could take a look for Oddlift accessories. We have windmills in here. I guess the only thing we could do is we could maybe add Turkish get-up. Turkish get-up's not in here, but I think we don't need to complicate it. So, our Monday is locked in across all 9 weeks. I didn't know we're streaming on this account. Yeah, I just started. This is the second stream on this account. But like, it would be inappropriate for me to stream this on the other account, I think. Okay, so we switched to pendlay row here. And then we switched to kettlebell bottoms up press. And so let's make the swap on the pendlay row on all these. So there's week 2. Can you guys see all the weeks? Yeah, you can. There's the pendlay row there. Eventually, I think the lat pull-downs go away. But this is often what we do with accessories anyways, is we push all of our accessory numbers up through one training cycle, and then we switch and we do a different accessory anyways. That way you can set a PR at an RPE that's relatively low, and RPE stands for rate of perceived exhaustion, and so RPE 10 is our absolute best effort, and what we're looking to do is we're looking to set a PR while simultaneously having maybe like 5 or 6 additional reps we could do. This is kind of like the paradigm-ish. Maybe 5's a little bit too many for the accessories, is we want to always be PRing the accessories while simultaneously not actually being a maximal effort. Or this is how I like to look at accessories. And if the current accessory you're doing, you can't do that, then you switch to something that's a little bit more... you switch to a different movement. Okay, so, and then in week 8, we're done with accessories, it looks like, except for this windmill. But we wanted to switch the windmills, or we did switch the windmills, to kettlebell bottoms up press. So why don't we make the switch on these? Windmill is a great exercise, and to be fair, we could windmill with the bottoms up press, or with the bottoms up position, but I'm freaking scared to do that, so we're not going to do that. I'm scared of dropping a kettlebell on my face. Oop, that's not the one. And then, wow, we still have them in week 9. That's probably unnecessary. Probably unnecessary. What's your target? What's my target weight? I'm just trying to like make progress. I guess it's probably around 240 pounds, which is like 100 pounds lighter. And I kind of want to be really aggressive about it. The thing is, every time I start cutting weight, I get a lot weaker, and then I get really sad. But I just have to not get sad. I just have to, like, have that not happen. Okay. So, on Friday, did we change anything? We changed to the single leg RDLs for the first Friday of the 2-week week. If that makes sense. So we will switch these to one-legged, single-leg RDLs across all the weeks instead of back extensions. Which back extensions are great. Maybe we should still fit in the back extensions somewhere. But you know what? We're also going to be doing swings. Swings fulfill a similar goal, and we're going to be doing swings on Sundays. So Sunday swings. So I think it's fine. And then, did we cut this on day 4? Yeah, we did. Okay, so we're done with those. Okay. So that is, how we've got things. Maybe we want to, so now we're about to put in for the first Sunday, which is going to be a home workout. So we're going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday gym, Sunday is home workout. And for this, we're going to be using, currently I have a 97 kilo kettlebell. I would like to get a 20 kilo kettlebell and a 52 kilo kettlebell as well. In pounds, I have a 97 pound, 44 kilo kettlebell is what I have currently. And then in pounds, the 20 kilo kettlebell would be 44 pounds, and then the 52 kilo kettlebell would be like 115 pounds, something like this. Pretty sure I could tell the difference between a 7 and an 8.5. Both would feel like pretty tired, yeah. But like, one is like comfortable tired and the other's like fuck tired. But like not like, you're not like just absolutely getting jacked up. I don't know how I feel about RPE. I definitely like it more than reps in reserve, but it's like also hyper subjective. But also like if you're not feeling very good, you just take all these, like if you're feeling like shit, like you can modulate all these down, right? Like or like if you don't feel very good, something is gonna feel RPE 8.5 a lot easier, right? Like whereas the percentages, those are hard locked, right? It's the percentage is the percentage. To be fair, if I feel really, really bad, I'm not gonna do the thing. Also, I think that here we don't. I think we just work up to a heavy double. And by heavy, probably I think we just do like, I don't even know what we do because we're trying to do 65% and then we gotta walk back home. I think the main thing we're doing is kettlebell swings. Not sure we want to have the sets and reps, to be honest. I think we just want to make progress. Or we want to have the sets. I don't know if we want to have the reps. We could do EMOM stuff at home. This changes the nature of things. We could superset kettlebell swings with a bunch of stuff. want ab rollers in here. I hate doing ab rollers so much. Gotta put it in. And then I guess we also like side bends. And then we mainly wanted to hit the obliques. Yeah, maybe we don't... Okay, so I was thinking of having a bunch of bent press and like overhead shoulder stuff, but like, to be honest, like, we're just gonna blast our yeah, we're just gonna... I don't think that's gonna be good. So let's just do 3 sets of each of these. Kettlebell swings, I think we... Do we increase the sets or decrease the sets? Maybe we just keep it straight across. I mean, across weeks, multiple weeks. How are we supposed to do this? Well, in theory, we would want to go up in weight and decrease the reps and the weight, but we're only going to have 1 or 2 kettlebells that we could do it with. And so, maybe that's... We just look to view this as like a cardio day. And the swings are like more of a maintenance thing. And we're trying to overload on the... Yeah, let's just view the swings as like cardio or something. We're just going to do like 8 to 10 sets. Right, but which one? I mean, we could currently do like 10 sets of 10. We actually have been doing like 12 sets of 10, but we also want this day to be easier. We could just do 9 sets, because, yeah, because we can't decide between 8 and 10, sure. Perfect. And then we aren't going to do any overhead stuff. Instead, we're going to do forearm stuff. The forearm stuff dovetailing into the squat day is also pretty nice. Like the squat day and the bench day, like the fact that we blasted our forearms is not as bad as it would be having an Oli day leading into it, or the Sunday leading into an Oli day. So, let's do the entire forearm circuit, which I know doesn't mean a lot to you guys, but so we have one of our implements here. And what we're looking to do is, your hand can articulate in 6 different directions. Often the only one you do is flexion and extension in lifting. And so we also want to do radial deviation, ulnar deviation, pronation, which is turning towards, like if you have your arm face up, turning it over towards the center of your body, supination, which is the other way. And that's 6. Ulnar deviation, radial deviation, pronation, supination, flexion, extension. And so for the circuit, we'd just be hitting all of them with different, implements. But like as an example, we could, we're working on our, pronation. We work on the supination, same implement, as pulling it up. It's really hard to like hold it up in the air and show. But what we would be doing is we would be hitting the 4 that you don't traditionally hit. Which means I think that we would actually want to do... I don't think we have forearm stuff in here. So I think that means on the Friday before leading into it, we actually want to work our flexion and extension there. And we want to be able to use a loaded barbell for working flexion and extension, so we have to be at the gym. So I think that we put that in here. So and then reverse forearm curls. And then we want to do 2 sets of each. Rep range. I don't think we want to necessarily have a particular rep range. We're just going to use like the accessory 6 to 20. Yeah, we're just gonna do this one. We're gonna do the lazy fill-in. Because we're just looking to like push PRs a little bit while maintaining this 8.5 RPE, rate of perceived exhaustion. But this changes our Friday, so we're gonna need to go week 2 after tall jerk. Oh, we also like to superset this. So generally when we have a superset thing, we do it in orange. So let's highlight it so that we know it's orange. We're trying to superset these things. Oop, not that one. All right. And then, do we have to, and in this way, when you're supersetting them, it's kind of only like 2 sets additional. The thing is are we just like blasting? You always want to add more stuff. Taking out the stuff feels bad though. But like, I feel like you can usually, okay, you can usually hit forearms more. But like, the thing is like your body just having a higher heart rate, after a certain period of time, like your body's just fatigued enough that like the volume starts getting junky, which is why we have all the important exercises first. I think week 7 will be the last week we put these in. But we do want to hit, I've come to the conclusion that on the one arm snatch, and more importantly on the bent press, just like forearm strength is super, super king. And so we may not be doing a lot of bent presses in some of these spots, but we are hitting the things. And speaking of, hand pronation works the bicep. It works it like a little bit. Like you can feel it, like you can feel it happen, but it's like it's a much different like type of work. I mean, it does work the bicep, but it's like you're turning over. I wish I had a model of a skeleton here to take a closer look at that, because the thing is you're turning over your radius and your ulna, right, from bottom to top. What do you think of the theory that raising your heart rate wears your heart out faster so you don't live as long? That seems incorrect. But it might be the case that, yeah, I mean, yeah, that just seems not correct, because a lot of people who I think if you're in periods of really high stress for a long period of time without periods of not having high stress, that's really bad. Like, I think a better way to look at it is looking at it like cortisol. If your cortisol is always high, that's really bad. If your cortisol is always low, that's also bad. What you should have is spikes of cortisol and then troughs of cortisol, in terms of like longevity, is my understanding. And so, like, when you're doing this, your cortisol gets blasted in space, though. But then when you chill out later, you're good. I think we're going to include a little bit of, in here, we're going to do, what is it, javelin press, which is, like, you take a barbell, it's, like, just straight up, and so the barbell's on both sides, but we have an earthquake bar at home. So we do the entire circuit 3 times, and then we do the javelin press 3 sets. And I think this is fine for the home stuff. And then we be kind of lazy and copy this. And what we will actually do, I think we just do 10 reps here. Yeah, well, we'll just here. And then we have all these supersetted. So we do a set of swings, then we do a forearm circuit, then we do a set of swings, then we do a javelin press, then we do a set of swings, then we do a side bend. And we have, actually we would need 10 sets to have everything be perfect. We start with the swings and then we do this. If anything, we should have the kettlebell swings be indented, but I think we can remember. Maybe leave a note on it in case anyone else were to use this. Is a calorie surplus needed for a skinny guy to get stronger? It's needed for you to gain weight. Generally, gaining weight and putting on muscles, the most straightforward way of getting stronger. Let's say you're 445 pounds and you want to get to 150. Do you need? Yeah, if you want to gain weight, you need a caloric surplus. 100%. This is the only way you gain weight, and the only way you lose weight is by being in a caloric deficit. Thing is that I do cardio, and it's almost impossible for me to be in a surplus. As someone who just like standardly like gravitates towards eating 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day, like you just have to eat more. I have like the opposite issue. It's like I have to try really hard to not eat a lot, but like there's like you have to be disciplined about eating more. You have to like create habits around consuming more calories, and so like the way you would like create a habit is like, I mean, so there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of this, but like if you do every time I get back from a run, I have to eat immediately, and then when I wake up I have to eat immediately, and you set all these external cues for yourself that this is when you have to eat. Alminos, thank you so much for the follow. Then what you do is it helps for creating a habit. So here, actually, what's the best way to unpack this? It is easier to build one habit on top of another habit. And so if you have something that you consistently do, like waking up, then it is easier to be like, okay, I'm going to add calories when I wake up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat like a peanut butter sandwich or half a peanut butter sandwich or whatever it is. Unless like you're food insecure, in which case like gaining weight is hard, I suppose. But like rice is like really cheap, easy to digest, and so it's also easy to make. Rice and butter like will have a lot of calories. Not that that's like the highest like quality calories, but if your problem is just like ingesting more calories, that's something that's easy to get down and digest. But you have all these things you do throughout the day, like waking up, running, getting off work or getting out of school, normal meal times, you don't want to eat right before you go to bed, but let's say these are your triggers, and then what you do is you use something called an implementation intention. So it's like if then. So what you do is you, on a piece of paper or something like this, you write, if I just woke up, then I will grab, and then whatever food item type thing you have set up, and you write these all on a piece of paper, and then you just read it to yourself like when you wake up and before you go to bed, and you do this to try and stack the habits of just consuming more calories on all these various cues throughout your day, and then ideally you start consuming more calories. Even if it's uncomfortable. I have the other issue. Like I can sit down and eat 6,000 calories in one sitting. So yeah. Hey Destiny, how's it going? Rice doesn't have much minerals in it anymore. It might be better to focus on legumes. Yeah, but if he's having a hard time eating something, rice is really easy to digest. Rice is way easier to digest than legumes. So, like, if someone were asking, like, if I'm trying to lose weight, I wouldn't suggest necessarily rice. Rice's main benefit is that it's super, super easy to digest. White rice. And so if you're having trouble actually consuming the calories, then you have to think about trying to make it digestively easier for the person or mechanically easier for the person. Rice is super mechanically easy to like chew and swallow because it's already broken up into tiny little bits, right? And then it digests very easy, which is why, you know, strongman and like sumo or whatever, like that is their carb of choice. Like the strongmen who need to consume 8 to 10,000 calories a day, they eat a ton of rice because it's really easy to digest. Easy to make it delicious, yeah. Also, the less food is refined, the less the blood sugar spike is. Yeah, but that's like, you need to get your blood sugar up a little bit in order to like, or well, you don't need to, but like it's easier to gain weight if you like spike your insulin a little. It's still calories in, calories out though, but okay, so we have our Sunday, and I think we're just gonna run this Sunday back on the next Sunday slot, to be honest. I think I really like this. I don't know, does anyone think I'm missing something? Oh, you know what? Maybe we don't do side bends here. Let's add a little bit more. Here, let's make these bottoms up kettlebell press. Actually, we have bottoms up kettlebell press already, but it's only just one set. I think that it... I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, and this shakes out to being en toto. How many sets? So what is this? I mean, they're supersetted. To be honest, we're gonna take a little bit of a break between each, but this is 25 sets total. Yeah, we don't want to do any more than that, I think. So that is week 1 of the week 1 completed. And so now we're back on, and so we'll have to format. Maybe we won't put everyone through us formatting, changing Monday, Wednesday, Friday on each of these. Actually, no, this will be super fast, actually. I don't know why I'm typing it each time. That's stupid of me to do. Right, we can swap every Monday easy. So we know that day 1's Monday. And I know that week starts on Sunday, but we're doing it like this because we want to start on a Monday. But the week really starts on Sunday. Don't let anyone ever tell you different. And the reason we have day 1 in here to begin with and not Sunday is because originally we were using a 10-day week. Maybe we should keep day 1 actually because of that. Oh, whatever. It's too late. Nothing can be done. Actually, we also want Monday for... what day is it going to be in here? Day 5, I think. Yeah, because we went 1, 2, 4. Yeah, day 5. Day 5 is also Monday. Day 5 is also Monday. But yeah, I mean you also can like try and figure out what as in regards to gaining weight, what foods are really like calorie dense that for you are like easy to prepare and make and this type of stuff. You're just trying to reduce like the overall friction it takes for you to consume a calorie. And by friction, I mean like not like mechanical friction. I mean like psychological friction and like difficulty with your life. In yoga, people say that half a digestion process happens in the mouth, so chewing there is a must. Yeah, it's definitely important. But also, rice you don't need to chew as much is like part of the thing. Okay. So now we have this thing, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cells. And I think we just kind of like keep running this exact thing. I don't know if we're gonna make a progression into it, because I think we're just gonna try and make progress on the forearm circuit and the earthquake bar, javelin press, and this type of stuff. As the cycle goes down, we'll try and use higher weights and lower reps and this type of thing. But we'll just do that by vibe. You know what I mean? So this is 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're gonna need a total of 9 spaces in between. The Friday and the Monday. So 9. Is there a way to insert like a ton? There's probably a way to insert a ton. We don't know it though. So what's this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Okay. So we just gotta do that a few more times. Do you have any problems with getting bored during a long workout? Yeah. I do. I also have a problem with feeling tired. You just gotta try and get through it. I don't know. I will sometimes cut out my accessories. The accessories are not... What's really important is just getting there every single day. So, like, on days when I really... Like, consistency is the most important thing, more so than, like, having the absolute, like, bone-crushing workout. It's way more important to just be consistent. And so, I would suggest, like... If something is, like, really making you hate the gym for whatever reason, also you can just, like, leave once you've gotten your important shit done. And I'm never, like, bored during my important stuff. I'm bored during the accessories. Or if I feel like shit, then I will be, like, kind of bored a lot of times, too. Like, even during the accessories. But that's, like, then there's a separate problem. And usually I'm, like, overtrained if I feel like shit. I think there's one more. We're not counting. You can always delete cells, so no. Oh, we put it in the wrong spot. No. 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 Yeah, it's after day 4. Alright. Not before day 4. So, but also, like, it helps a lot to have stuff written down what you're planning to do in terms of getting bored and keeping at the gym, because, I don't know, you just kind of put one foot in front of the other. You can also, like, you can, like, listen to podcasts or, like, audiobooks, like, once you're into, like, the stuff that's, like, requires less concentration. Like, I have to concentrate for, like, the tops type of stuff, or that's a bad example of the day, but like I'm dialed in here, but like after that, yeah, we're kind of like phoning it in a little bit more. Well, not with the bench, but with the accessories. I maybe do too many accessories. I'm just like, wow, you know, I'd really like to do this. And I think it's like, it's perhaps the case that it's a lot of junk volume. Like, it's maybe the case that I should just do the primary exercise for like 8 sets and then go home. I don't know. I've always really liked accessories. like doing a lot of them in terms of program design, and maybe that's just me being stupid. I'm willing to bite that. Because the accessories aren't very specific, and you notice like the accessories go away towards the end. And I think that we're only going to continue the home workouts to week 7. And then we're looking to peak. So. Well, it's so crazy. I'm not even counting. I'm getting the right amount each time. I'm trying to like talk instead of count. Obviously if I was doing it on my own, I would not do that like that. Watch, I'm gonna get it wrong on this next one. I think it's one more. That looks right. Oh baby. And then I think that we just stop week 8 and 9. And we're less squats, heavy metal, leg extension, currently listening to History of Rome podcast. Basically, that's exactly Jabba Jingles, that's exactly the vibe. The accessories and stuff, you can phone it in. I'm planning on pushing audiobooks a little bit more during accessories. Which, like, to be fair, if you're not fully attending to the audiobook or whatever, it's like it's kind of junk reading in a sense too, but we're junk reading and junk working out at the same time. It's in the vibe. Okay, so that is that on that. Super nice. I think we're gonna also put this at the end. Putting it at the end is gonna take a lot less effort, but we're gonna do that at the end, I think. Yeah. I think I really like this. This is very straightforward. Just getting like some forearm stuff in. Really, we're gonna be hitting like kind of all of it. Because javelin press and actually, you know what? Bottoms up kettlebell press and javelin press are kind of working the same shit. Maybe we don't care. The forearm just like recovers really, really nicely as well from fatigue. You just don't want it to be fatigued going into like a deadlift day. That's like a bad thing. Use V Nation Fearless to start your workouts. I do not know what V is. Also, is the stream still 720p? I think I have to try and figure that out. People are complaining about that in some of the other streams. Okay. Front squat, snatch balance, overhead press. So we have dumbbell windmill. We took dumbbell windmill out in favor of something else earlier. I think we would just leave the dumbbell windmill in here now, because we actually don't dislike it as an accessory. What did we take it out for? I think we took it out for the bottoms up kettlebell press. Wait, I'm so confused. Okay, I think it was on the last Monday. Oh, one arm overhead press with body English. Wait, what the hell? Do we really want that? Oh, maybe we just leave this as windmills and then we switch this to... Actually, you know what? Let's make this bottoms up bent press. And then really not gonna do just 10 reps on that. Do 5 or something. And then let's switch that in. I didn't realize, I kind of don't like the body English, like one arm dumbbell press, really, so let's get that out of there. And I want to put bottoms up kettlebell bent press. And we don't have the means to do that at home. Because we're going to have a 20 kilo bell, I think, that we're going to pick up. But I do not want to do multiple sets with a 20 kilo kettlebell. And then the accessories are gone by weeks 8 and 9. Okay. And then I think that we actually just keep in the dumbbell windmills. I think we want a little bit of them, so they'll be here. So this means no adjustments needed on the Monday, which this is a weightlifting day as well. Or what is this day? Cable crossover, just like randomly in there. I don't hate it though, because we're trying to get more chest stimulus. Here's a 720. Okay, I have to figure that out. The like Restream IO is just it says it's setting the resolution at 1080 by 720. That must mean that it's like that, and I think it's because we always get a bitrate like warning. Maybe we're messing up and we gotta take a look at that. Also, like every time we touch OBS we break it, and then like it takes me like hours to figure it out. It's like really frustrating. Maybe we just need to get a different client. Okay, so we have snatch, clean and jerk, bent row. So we moved bent row out in favor of penalty rows, and I think that we don't want to do like a symmetric bent row. I think what we want is a one arm bent row. But with a barbell. Okay, so this is on our and then is there any other single leg RDL we already swapped over, or it looks like we already have single leg RDL, so let's swap these. So on our day 7, we have bent rows, and instead we want to do barbell one-arm bent row. And this will work your forearm a lot more, because your forearm is trying to radial... You do a lot of balancing in terms of radial ulnar deviation with single-arm barbell bent row. And we're less concerned with just getting that overall, like, pulling, like, heavy pulling stimulus, to be honest. I mean, no, I think we're gonna try and do it like this. We want to hit the forearms harder. You got to make concessions somewhere. And we like in my head, I'm like, well, why don't we just add more? Like, we can't just keep adding more stuff. We'll never recover from anything if we do that like that. You just have to like, you can't do everything. Looks like week 6 we dropped the bent rows here. So I think I'm fine with that. Yeah, okay. Other than that, I think I'm fine with this Wednesday. Kind of coming in on the last one. You're a little confused by your 2-week weeks. So in... What's the... This would better be worded as microcycle 1, probably. Or actually, I don't even think it's a microcycle. What was it? Micro, meso, maso? Here. So... in sports, microcycle is the shortest training cycle, typically lasting a week. So this would actually just be, this would be better put as microcycle 1, because what we're doing here is we're kind of, it takes us 2 weeks to get through an entire microcycle, and our microcycles just happen to be 2 weeks, where almost all microcycles are 1 week. And it is confusing, and this should just say microcycle 1. But the idea is that we are deadlifting once every 2 weeks, and we are squatting heavy once every 2 weeks. Instead of like once a week or something like this. And so, our entire microcycle involves us getting through all of the training, like, I'm not sure how I want to word this. We're getting through checking all of the training boxes that we want to check in a microcycle, but it's just taking us 2 weeks to do it. Whereas most people will do, like, let's say if you're doing push-pull legs, you'll do, like, push on Monday, pull on, or actually you'd probably do, like, pull on Monday. You'll do pull on Monday, push on Wednesday, legs on Friday, and then the next week you come back and you're pull push legs again, and so your microcycle would only be 7 days. And so this is clumped by microcycle, and you notice, like, here we haven't actually programmed to deload, and that maybe we'll let future Peter worry about that, but this deload is not going to be this deload is probably only going to be 1 week. We're going to have a 1 week deload period, and this is we're going to either be lifting light or, like, just pulling off of volume or doing something like this during these, like, 1 week periods. But that means that we will have variable microcycle length. Thank you, Garnuba, for the follow. Big nice. Does that make sense, Richard? I hope that makes sense. Alright, we're kind of looking at the last day here, though, of what we're changing. And then we can, if anyone has any questions about the program, we can also go through that. Generally speaking, we're moving, this is a weird undulating program, I've never done this with a program before, but I was super successful on this program. We start off with, like, 5 sets of 2, like, reasonably heavy, and then we go to for the powerlifting, and then we go up in reps. And normally you just start high in reps and then you go down in reps, but we go up in reps and then we'll come back down in reps. So after week 6, I think we start coming down. So we go 2, 4, 6, 5, 3, or I think we have 2 weeks of 5, don't we? Yeah, 2 weeks of 5, and then 2 weeks of 3, and then weeks of 1, and that's the powerlifting type of thing. And then the weightlifting starts off general, so more accessories oriented, and then also with, like, EMOM, it starts out lighter and kind of just progresses to being heavier. I did not realize you were streaming on Twitch and not YouTube. We are streaming on YouTube, Ganuba. We're just streaming on our lifting YouTube. Did I link the Twitch in the Discord? Yeah, we're streaming on the lifting YouTube. We're streaming on both. But we didn't want to stream on the, I want to keep the YouTubes a little more separate, but the Twitch, everything goes away after, like, a week or two anyways, so it's like there aren't, like, long-term VODs on the Twitches. But so here we are looking at the last Friday. Here, RDLs, we maybe want to switch, but to be honest, I don't hate, like, having a little bit of just, like, heavy RDLs. The only thing, bent press, dumbbell windmill. So the things we're thinking of switching are the RDLs and the dumbbell windmill. Oh, we're definitely changing the curls. Do we have curls and tricep pushdowns? Yeah, we're gonna change those everywhere. Should we just keep a set of RDLs on the deadlift day? Can we do something that's, let's look in our brainstorm here. So we already have one, like, RDLs in some spots. I guess, well, we took out bent row, like, everywhere, right? We could switch this to, let's switch this to seated row with forearm implement, yeah. So this is a bit of a concession to trying to train the forearms more. We're going to use, like, a forearm grip type thing. Let's find an example. Here to show the kids. Y'all ain't kids, but you know what I mean. So something like this, where this has a rolling thing and you only grip it like cupped, and so it's much harder to grip. And so the idea is we're more maximizing with our accessories a lot of the forearm stuff. It's kind of the idea here. So let's kind of put that through the ringer, where we're gonna, yeah, yeah. And to be fair, the RDLs, like some of what we're getting from the RDLs is going to be covered by the fact that we're doing kettlebell swings. Kettlebell swings are actually going to, they're going to help to fill the gap that's left. It's not going to be as heavy. It's going to be a lot more cardio oriented. It's going to be a lot more volume oriented than like heavy RDLs or something. But like, okay, it's fine enough. Maybe we keep the RDLs on the heavy. Yeah, okay, let's... I think I like keeping RDLs on week 6, or microcycles 6 and 7. We should be calling them microcycles, but... I mean... Let's do that, actually, because this is just less confusing. We also have super long periods between deloads, actually. I just realized we have 6 weeks between deloads. That's too long. How are we supposed to deal with that? I guess we could drop a Sunday in a couple spots. To give a longer... So here we'll have 2, 4, 6 Sundays. And so if we're going to drop a Sunday, dropping the 4th Sunday makes sense. And so I think we'll rest on the 4th Sunday. And that'll be fine. Alright. Let's get the Wednesdays copied over. So this is a Wednesday, and the one after Monday is a Wednesday. So 2 and 7 are Wednesday. Yeah, that's much better. We should just have it say microcycle. If we know it in our head is like being like it's not an actual week. That's different than if we're showing other people what we're doing. Then it needs to look a particular way, I think. It needs to look better. To be fair, it's already like a lot cleaner than what it needs to be for us. And then what we'll do is we'll just not work out on the 4th Sunday of every... So like, I think the middle things are like mesocycles. I can't remember if they're meso or macrocycles, but so like micro 1 through deload, the first deload, that's one mesocycle. And then the entire thing is a macrocycle, is if my recollection serves me correctly. And so like, cause this is a discrete block as well, up to the deload. And then very often you'll change stuff up during your second, like, post-deload kind of behavior. And then we have this, and then after this, we have a deload, and then, like, a max out attempt. But this is how we're doing it. Or call them D-week for double week. No, microcycle's much more precise. Plus, there's a world in which we take this template and we add days or we subtract days, right? And then it's not a double week anymore. Okay, so... And then Friday, let's copy over the Fridays. And to be fair, we maybe shouldn't be overriding the days. Or we should be overriding the days as in, like, which day it is up to 14. This probably would have been better, but whatever. Yeah, it probably would have been better. It would have played better for if we ever want to reformat and redo the program again. But it's too late now. We're committed. And then I think that we're not gonna like work out at all on or like once we're starting to get into a micro 8 and 9, I think we like pull back the home workout quite a bit. So we'll keep that in mind. Did we do this? Yeah, we did. Okay. Alright. So we're going to take this, we're going to copy this as well, the note, we'll insert it here, and then microcycle 2, this is going to be our 4th Sunday, so we'll just not have a workout on this one, right? 1st, 2nd, this is 3rd, 4th is off. And this will give us a kind of like a mini deload, and then here we have the last little bit. And then we deload. And then we have 1st, 2nd Sunday, and then there's 3rd. 3rd is here, and then the 4th. And this will be like a mini deload, but it's probably not enough. We're probably going to overtrain. Yeah, this is probably... Well, so this would be asking for overtraining, but also we're not operating off of our 1 rep max, so like the intensity band is not that high. So I think maybe we could get away with this. Name the days a week is much friendlier? Yeah. If anyone wants to try and do the program I'm doing, then that would work out a lot better. I think that maybe we do the micro 7, we're gonna do the stuff, but then we cut out the home workouts at this point. We're trying to dial everything in for a Supertotal. And so we'll switch to, yeah, we're just trying to dial everything in. And then we'll figure something else out for peaking, because this is we're gonna have a deload. We're gonna have a deload after this, and then we're gonna have like more of a peaking thing. But we're probably gonna do someone else's program for that. So overall it's gonna take us about 20 weeks to get through this. And I think that for the first microcycle, we might actually take 3 weeks to do it, depending on how things are feeling, just because the walking to the gym is super tiring. For me, weighing over 300 pounds, for those of you who weigh like 200 pounds, it'd be like wearing a 100-pound weighted vest, a little bit. But I think we hit everything, right? Oh no, let's see. We wanted to change all these. They're just reverse curls and tricep pushdowns. And we wanted these to all be bottoms up. We wanted these all to be better. We wanted them to be much more forearm involved in any type of arm movement. So the first one is bottoms up kettlebell curls. It's the most straightforward way. Which are gonna, and then we'll do bottoms up kettlebell tricep extension. And to kind of show this off, let's kind of pull up the kettlebell. In order to hold the weight like this, and this is kind of, would be very heavy for me to curl with bottoms up position, we need to radially deviate the forearm. And so if we do curls like this, we have to support the weight in that way, right? That's a little bit heavy for me to demo on at an odd angle like that. But the idea is we get to hit radial deviation and ulnar deviation a little bit more while we're hitting the arms. Don't really care about hitting the arms super hard. But we'll do this the first Wednesday. We'll do these. No. Let's figure out how we want to do it for all of them. Actually, this is coming off. No, okay, this isn't Sunday adjacent. But this is Sunday adjacent. So I think if it's on the Monday, I think we leave the reverse easy curls and the tricep pushdowns. It's going to be much heavier, and we're going to be fatigued with all this forearm stuff here anyways. And even though the recovery curve for forearms is like pretty fast, I mean, we get a little bit of a stimulus here. And then this is also Sunday adjacent. So maybe but we could mix it up a little bit. The thing is, we're literally going to do curls and tricep extensions the next day because that's part of our forearm circuit. And we can do something else. We can do supinating curls. I really like supinating curls. And then, do we really like reverse easy bar curls? I don't even think we like these. Let's do reverse false barbell curls instead. Tricep pushdown I like a lot. And this is, we never use the rope implement for tricep pushdown. Although maybe we could. We always use a bar. So maybe we just make that clear. Because that's the implement you like powerlift on. And to be fair, the supinating, the rope, you actually do some pronation on. So maybe we add that in a little bit. So we'll do rope tricep pushdown and supinating curls. So we'll be hitting supination, pronation there. Here we'll just be hitting. Well, this hits like forearms a little bit with the false grip. Actually, let's do easy bars. And then this, by the way, is not like tuned at all to like get big arms, just to be clear. In terms of our workout, we're just trying to get a little bit of stimulus here and there. Okay. Let's put these on over on the first Wednesday of every single one of these that has them already. We're kind of trusting a lot of our earlier programming, but also because we did better on this training program than we did any other. And the undulating like thing is weird at the beginning. I think that that's like incorrect, but we're just like we're trusting our previous performance, and then if that somehow doesn't work out, then yeah. And then here we stop. Okay. So that's the first arms block. And and then we'll do the second Monday is going to be the second one. Second Monday in a microcycle. We'll put all this in place. A lot of copying and pasting for this. A lot less thinking than I thought it was going to be. But to be honest, like we did a lot of the thinking initially when both in exercise selection last time we did a bit of a stream and also when we wrote this program initially. We've tried not to add too much volume, which is like always kind of the thing. To be fair, I think we've taken out a lot of intensity overall, or like we've in some sense taken out a lot of volume. Because we went from a 10-day microcycle to a 14-day microcycle, and the 10-day microcycle, I think we were working out 60% of the days, and now, even on the days that we have the 2 Sundays, it's going to be, we added 4 days, but only 2 of them are workout days, so it pulls it towards 50%. But not only that, we also have the one Sunday every microcycle is also off, which, so in microcycle 5, there's only 1 Sunday workout here. As a way to try and, because normally you don't want to go 6 weeks without a deload. It's normally a no-no. I think 7's the last one here. And so, okay. I think we kind of have our program here, though. So, I guess we can go through it a little bit. Starting off with 65% of our 1 rep max for all of these. So instead of doing the actual prescribed weight, we're going to be doing 65% of that weight. So this is going to be incredibly light. I don't know if we actually want to go that light for weightlifting stuff. So let's actually put not weightlifting on weightlifting. Because, like, if we do, like, 30 or 40%, it'll just, like, feel really strange. And this is already, like, fairly low percents. But just, we'll maybe do a little bit of... We're mainly, like, concerned about the powerlifting stuff. So, right? I think I'm way closer to, I think currently I'm way closer to being able to hit my weightlifting numbers after just like a couple of weeks than I am to being able to hit my powerlifting numbers. We'll do the first week like this and then we'll see how we feel. Okay. And we have in here, in this 1 microcycle, we have, let's see, I think it is 8 workouts over the course of 14 days. We have a primary snatch day, so it's just mainly snatch and clean and jerks, and then also 1 arm snatch. I guess we could show our 1 arm snatch here. Let's find it. Let's find a 1 arm snatch, because that's not a lift that we see that often, is it? It's with a rotation too. Let's show one where we're in a sling. Those are funny. Do have one in a sling. Yeah. Oh no, wait, this is a miss. Let's not show a miss. Hold up, guys. I guess we could cruise through. This is not something we have to worry about showing. So, this is our current PR on 1 arm snatch. Look at that, it's so snappy. 165 pounds overhead. That is 75 kilos? Exactly 75 kilos. Relatively heavy. But that's what we'll be doing here. And then we have clean pulls, snatch high pulls, overhead, one arm snatch pulls, Skwaaats press, box jumps. The plyo specifically, we maybe don't, well, we'll see. We'll do a little bit of the plyo and see how we feel, but like specifically we're a little bit worried because we're really heavy right now. We ran this program when we weighed like 280 pounds. Now we weigh like 40 pounds heavier than that, and so I don't know if I could take that many, the same number of contacts is a little bit of concern. Donald Peterson, that's scary. It do be a little scary with the one arm snatch. To be fair, when you fails away from you, like the bar just like kind of it doesn't ever end up actually collapsing on top of you like pretty much ever. I don't think I've dropped it on myself like once doing a one arm snatch. Just because of how the weight works out. But if I did drop it on my face, that would really hurt. That'd be a bad time. And then continuing on through the microcycle, we have squat day, which we're also going to have front squat, and in there is also low bar squats. So kind of trying to hit a lot of volume in a lot of different kind of ways. We have the pendlay row, the lat pull down shrug. Then we have bench. So we're actually benching twice a microcycle. But we kind of suck at bench. The sets might be a little bit high. We'll see how our shoulders recover from this, but this is what we're going to be trying. And then we have some bottoms up kettlebell press, bottoms up kettlebell curls. And so these are the adjustments we've made, specifically keeping in mind that we kind of want to blast the forearms a lot more with what we've come to know. At the end of the first week, we have basically accessories for weightlifting: tall snatch plus overhead squat, multi-pause snatch. Generally, we're going to be working snatch a little bit more. Tall, clean, and jerk. It's going to be a lot of complexes. And then as the cycle continues, that same, so we're going on to microcycle 6. That same one will start to look a lot more. It will go from being complexes that are you have to do really light to complexes you can do much heavier, like snatch pull plus snatch you can do really heavy relative to 3 times pause snatch, or it's going to move a lot heavier is going to be the progression. And same here, we're starting off doing every minute on the minute on snatch on Mondays, and then as it goes in we're going to switch to just doing heavy singles. And so this is kind of, this first Monday is our heavy single day. I think we have another heavy single day for the weightlifting, was really trying to keep that frequency up. This is also why we're only like squatting and deadlifting once every 2 weeks, heavy. So really trying to keep the legs a little bit fresher for some of the weightlifting stuff. Then we have our, and then we do have the plyo though at the end. And we added the forearm curls and the reverse forearm curls. I think twice a week, and so this was an adjustment we make. I think that we should be able to do this. And then we have the Sunday, which is just straight across. We're planning on making progressions, but it's going to be difficult because we don't have enough implements to like be swinging heavier every single week, right? So we'll start off with a lighter implement with more sets, and then move towards a heavier implement, and move towards a heavier implement. If we can, for the forearm circuit, we're going to try and start with higher reps at the beginning here, and then move to being heavier and heavier with lower reps. And this is going to be the progression we also notice with the lifting, except we have this undulating pattern where microcycle 1, we go from 2 to 4 to 6, and then microcycle 4 to 9, we're going to go 5, and then 3, and then 1. And so the overall rep range is actually pretty low, but we're looking to get our volume in regards to like the squats and this type of stuff. We're looking to get a little bit more volume through like stuff like front squat, low bar squats, stuff like this. But overall, it's really not a lot of volume, and we don't have any leg extensions here. I kind of really like the leg extensions. Maybe we'll add those. The thing is, we just have so many sets. I think we don't mess with this too much. Bro, could we just try and do this, like, without doing this 65% nonsense? I guess maybe we try and do 100% the full day, and then if it works, we just don't do this. I feel like we can do it. So, like, looking at this, it's like, oh, the volume is, like, actually not that high. Because there's not a lot of reps. And there's never a lot of reps. There's no, like, sets of 10 anywhere. Maybe this was the philosophy here, was that we were just going to do a lot more sets. Because the sets look scary. When you look at the sets, you're like, that's a lot of numbers. That's, you know, that's 5, 7, 9, 11, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27, 28, 30, 32 sets. And you're like, wow, that's a lot of sets. But then, like, we're doing doubles with relatively lightweight, you know? It's not too bad. Came for the Vicky 3 content, stayed for the Swole goal. Swole's the goal. Welcome aboard, Soldier. Great to have you here. But so the progression with it's the same progression that we're gonna have with bench as well, where we're gonna be starting with some doubles, and then we're gonna, in the first microcycle we're gonna move up to sets of 6 relatively quickly. This will be our highest volume. So microcycle 3 is going to be our highest volume microcycle, where you can see we're doing 10 sets of snatch every minute on the minute. And so we're actually ramping up the number of snatches. We're doing 5 sets of 6, which is going to be, a bit of a slog. And then we start coming back down in the volume and increasing the intensity. I think the intensity increases as well. Is 80%, and then on this one we had, what do we have on the squat on microcycle 2? Okay, so the intensity is decreasing and the volume's increasing for the first mesocycle. So that's microcycles 1 through 3. And then we have the second Monday is going to be more of it's going to be, so the way it works is like we have Monday here, leg day, right? Or sorry, we have weightlifting day, leg day, weightlifting day, and then this is like leg day, but it's a lighter leg day because we're doing front squats. And we're also trying to hit some overhead stuff. So snatch, balance, overhead, overhead, is that one arm? That must be overhead press. But the idea we might even switch this up actually. We'll just trust our initial programming, but we'll make notes as we go. But this is kind of like a leg movement as well. Well, to be honest, there's an accessory we wanted to include more of, and that was one arm overhead squat. Maybe we add it here. Let's do 2 sets, reps. Let's do 2 to 6. Feel. So let's just add this on the second Monday. So we're adding some volume. Where did we have it after? Behind the neck jerk. All right. Also a little bit of a technical day for the overhead. Oop, let's not do that. Wait, what? Why did it copy like that? Okay. Let's do some of this. Apologies, I was trying to summarize everything, but then I realized I actually want to have this movement in. And this is clearly the best place to put it, and we're only going to be doing it once every 2 weeks, but I think that it's fine. The one arm overhead squat. Everyone's favorite. We could actually show a little bit of the lifts. Yeah, came for the Victoria 3 content. This is like the opposite of Victoria 3 content, to be honest. And I actually think that the overhead squat's like super nice for like what we're trying to do. Oop. Let's have it after jerks, huh? Is that an adjustment that we need to make in, oh yeah, let's not do it. Yeah. Definitely have the jerks first. I think the jerks got introduced later. Okay. As we start to get more specific, so this is there's less specificity in the earlier part of the program, and then by the time you get to week 9, we're trying to almost be doing only main lifts, and then we have a deload which isn't in the program yet, followed by an actual peaking period where we will only do main lifts, 0 accessories. And then we have this Wednesday, which is this is a heavy day, right? But we're doing doubles here. Let's take a look at microcycle 3, what we're doing on the second, like, heavy, whatever. So snatch, yeah, so it's just, like, it's more heavies. Here, let's take a look at 6. But they're not singles, and they eventually become singles. And so they start out as doubles. Oh, they start out as doubles while the other one is EMOM, right? So we're doing every minute on the minute here. We're doing every minute. So for our third weightlifting day, we have 3 weightlifting days, right? For our third weightlifting day in a microcycle, we're doing heavy doubles initially while we're doing every minute on the minute. And then as soon as we stop doing every minute on the minute, which is microcycle 4, and start switching to singles, we'll switch to just heavy singles. So we have a lot of heavy singles for the weightlifting, which I think might have been a mistake, to be fair. Like, programming the weightlifting is a little bit harder. We get the loud car, beep boop. Leg day on Monday is insane. Respect. You gotta have it on Monday. What? Wouldn't catch you doing that outside on the weekend? No, dude, you gotta have it on the Monday. You gotta have the hardest day on the Monday. Can't have a bench day on the Monday. Also, so many people freaking bench on Monday. Like, you do not want to be benching on a Monday, just from like this perspective of being able to find an open bench. And so okay, but then we have to cap it all off at the very end, we have deadlifts, a deadlift day. So to be fair, our squat day is on a Monday, where we're all nice and fresh. Our deadlift day is on, to be fair, will probably be relatively fresh on this Friday. Because the idea, so we have the 3 heavy leg days, right? In the microcycle, the first on this Monday, and then the second is on, oh no wait, this first, it's on a Wednesday. Yeah, this is fine. You like actually don't want to be as fatigued for the weightlifting, because it makes you move slower. I think being a little bit fresher. But normally, if I'm just training powerlifting, I do squat on Monday. Also, when you compete in powerlifting, the lift you open with is the squat, and then you finish with the deadlift. So it makes more sense to be a little bit more fatigued when you're training deadlift specifically. Just because of how the comp is structured. Like, if deadlift went first, it would be better to have your deadlift day first, but okay. So we have this first leg day, and then on Wednesday, which I guess we have the Tuesday off, right? So we'll be relatively fresh, and then the second leg day is on not a Monday. No, it's on a Monday again. Just it becomes like more of a bent press day. And this becomes more of a one-arm snatch day. But this is the second leg day, right? And so this one is not as fresh. But we don't care that we're not as fresh because we're coming in from the Sunday, because it's front squats. And then on the Friday, again, we'll be relatively fresh. Here, let's go to microcycle 1. On the Friday, again, we'll be relatively fresh, coming off of an off day. and when the previous day was weightlifting. So we should have a lot in the tank, because the previous the front squat day, it was like, if we you don't want to have the deadlifts and the squat super close together. And so if we take a look, there's 1, 2, okay, or 3, because there is the rest day here. So 4 days from the front squat day. And then we're also this Saturday, Sunday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days from the squat. So not having the deadlift and the squat too close together is pretty nice. If that all makes sense. Leg day Mondays, so you're too tired to run away from the work week, basically suffering. If I wasn't doing the weightlifting stuff, leg day would be on the Monday. But here we do have the snatch and the clean and jerk, which does make sense. We kind of want to be fresh for it. Although, to be fair, it's actually not going to be fresh for us now that we're working out on Sundays. So maybe this is all messed up. This actually might be all messed up. Because our Monday is going to suck. But you know what? In the later microcycles, what we end up having is like the weight percentages of the singles here are lower than the weight percentages of the singles down here. So our absolute like peak heavy time is actually after the front squat day. It's 2 days after the front squat day. So I think it works out well enough. Yeah. But your Mondays are right after the Sunday of the previous microcycle. Yeah, that's the problem. You were correct. The problem is you want to be fresh for everything, but then you also can't have too many rest days, otherwise your frequency gets too low. Already the frequency on like squat is lower than I'd like. I'm only squatting once every 2 weeks, right? So this is perhaps a bit of a problem. Like, we're losing technical skill, and we're doing that so that we can try and have the frequency on like the snatch and clean and jerk and the more technical lifts a lot more frequently. But yeah. It do be like that. I guess we could show a couple lifts before we go, but I think we're about close to done. Do we have our heaviest squat in here? No, our heaviest squat's not in the shorts. Oh yeah, this one's fun. That's some nose torque at the start. And so this is a bent press with 135 pounds on the right arm, and then however much is needed to get to 410 on the bottom. It's like 275. Some hot girl shit right there. Not playing the sound because it's all copyrighted stuff, because shorts, they don't bop you on the shorts for the copyright. This is the weight I tore my quad on quite a long time ago, or like a year and a half ago. And then got back into it. The scheduling seems more complicated than the Hoey Ford division designer. You're not wrong. I'm also like super uncertain I'm getting it right. So the thing is I just hit it for a double. I'm like, I would throw shade at myself if I wasn't myself. Like, this guy's talking about doing it for reps, and he just does 2. He's like talking like he's repping it out. It's just 2. Technically not wrong, but you know, a little bit of a stretch there, my guy. It is 635 pounds though, so there's that. But like the problem is I have to design all my own programs. I kind of hate it. I wish I could use someone who is like a weightlifting coach, because I'm trying to, the problem is like, coming back to this, we're trying to do a 10 lift total minus the Turkish get up for this program. The Turkish get up gets completely ignored in this program, but we're trying to hit a 10 lift total, which there's no programming for. And the programming that exists for a 5 lift total, which is squat, bench, deadlift, clean and jerk, snatch, that programming is a little, I've done some of the free programs that are available, and I've not liked them. So, and then we're layering on top of that some adjustments that are like pretty big. So simply too deep. Thank you so much for the follow. So, you know, there's a lot of and you like, if you think these programs are like complicated, you should see a Shaco program. They completely like don't make like these programs, like they make some like linear sense, right? When you're in the early microcycle, so like this, we're ramping up volume in the first mesocycle from microcycle 1, 2, 3. We're increasing volume. We're increasing the rep range of the squats. We're increasing, you know, the number of sets on the snatch. I think we're decreasing the weight. No, we're increasing the weight on the snatch, but just barely. Oh, we increase it and then we decrease it. Weird. And then, which is generally what you do in a powerlifting program. Generally, you have the volume be high at the beginning and the volume go down. Because, here. Let's get a little paint program here. Here. So generally speaking, oh, this is ugly as hell. Do we have a different program? Can we have a different program, please? We do not want, okay, so very often, the way you look at programming, or this is how you do it for powerlifting, you have volume, and volume is really great for putting on muscle. This is how you put on muscle. This is how you get hypertrophy. And so very often, early on in the program, you'll do something. You'll either start out high, or you start out like a little bit here, and then you'll go here, and then you come down, and then you just like the volume collapses. Because there's two things that introduce a lot of fatigue. Another one is intensity. And by intensity, we mean the overall load that is being lifted. Now, to be fair, you can have high intensity with high volumes or high rep ranges, but you're closer to the max band which you could do for each set. And generally, a lot of programs will go like this. The intensity, it won't start out like cataclysmically low, but let's say it kind of comes up like this, and the intensity goes up. And there's another variable which often doesn't change in programs, and that's frequency, or how often you're lifting. Generally, the frequency stays constant. In a lot of programs, you work out on these days, this is what you do. And so you can only recover from having two of these high at one time. And most people always just keep frequency high. But if your volume is high, if you're doing tons of sets and tons of reps, and then those are really high bands of intensity for you, like close to maximal effort, intensity is a little bit, it gets interpreted like two ways, because it's like intensity in terms of absolute percentage of your 1 rep max, but also if you do like a 10 rep max all the time, the intensity is going to be really high. So when you're hitting your volume period, you don't want to be like, you don't want to be using like, we're not trying to hit like an absolute 6 rep max here, because we're trying to do, you know, more sets. Now, to be fair, this weight percentage is supposed to be based off my 1 rep max, which is maybe not how we want to do it. We might want to do it off of our 6 rep max, but it's more straightforward to do it off this. But like if we look at a 1 rep, I almost certainly could hit 80% of my 1 rep max for, well, actually I don't know if I could hit it for more than 6. So we're maybe actually just like scuffing this a little bit because we're having volume and intensity. Like, so where we might be doing, this is the mistake we might be making. We have intensity like this. So this is how generalist fucks up the intensity, which is that, okay, the intensity is getting harder and harder and harder, but it maybe starts out too high at the beginning. And so maybe that's another reason why us operating off of a smaller 1 rep max when we're first getting into it is maybe appropriate. And then we just, every microcycle, we just jump up a few percent. But can we undo? Yeah, we can. But this is how most powerlifting programs work. Most bodybuilding programs do the opposite. Where if we... Let's draw another red line. Bodybuilding programs will often... Well, actually, the volume is generally kind of high. But you will do, like, something that looks a little bit more like this. And the intensity will be a little bit more like this, maybe. Or maybe you flatten out here, and then you are in an overcompensation period over here. Where, like, you know that this isn't sustainable, but you're just like really increasing the volume and you're doing like metabolite training and stuff like that. So, sup generalist in the chat? Sup, so I'm too deeply? Oh, so simply too deep? You tore a pec rolling out of bed, feels bad, man. Like a huge chunk of my injuries are just not lifting. And you hardly weigh over 500, your noodles need some upper body strength. Yeah, push-ups are decent. Push-ups kind of put your shoulder... I like dumbbells a lot better for, like, people who are maybe not so big to begin with. Because push-ups, like, kind of... They, like, fix your shoulder in a particular spot. And, like, I don't know. I think that push-ups are maybe a little bit more injury-prone-y than... Like, initial recommendation would be machines, and then really light dumbbells alongside machines where you can 100% handle the weight and work on the supporting muscle through, like, a range of motion. I'm doing good, man. How about you? I'm doing pretty good. We're just kind of finishing doing a little bit of program design here for our, not this Monday, but starting next Monday. I think we're going to start the first microcycle. And we might take 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks to get through the first microcycle. And maybe we do go a little bit heavier. We see... I'll load up 72.5. I think this... Oh, this is actually 73%. I thought it was rounded. I'll load up the weight and see how it feels. Maybe we try like 65%. And maybe try a much higher aggressive percentage of 1 rep max. Because I'm just like getting back into it starting next week. And so... Don't want to blast too hard. So mainly feeling stuff out in the first micro, but yeah. You see that a Powerlifter plus nonsense like this. Getting the weight overhead with one arm. Yeah. Yeah, working out on specific days helps habits. Yeah, it does. I think in a theoretical sense, I actually really loved the 10-day split that we had with the initial program. But I wanted to introduce a lot more for our volume. And to be fair, we introduce a lot more volume overall too with these Sunday days. Like 10 sets of 10 on swings is like, that's actually like a lot of reps. And it's, yeah, and then we have a bunch of the forearm stuff. And then some ab stuff, which we aren't really doing on the other days. And so I think it ends up working out pretty well. How closely do you match the individual weight? I use 2.5 pound plates as the smallest denomination I use. So to the nearest 5 pounds. But especially with like it's not the end of the world if it's like, well, because we're using percentages, I would like to be really close. If we were using like RPE or reps in reserve, like for our programming, we wouldn't care as much. But like the percentages, with percentages, I like to be really anal about it, which is perhaps gratuitous, but I think that, so what's going to happen in a lot of times is our snatch or our clean and jerk on the Monday here, we're trying to overload, right? This is going to be exactly, because of where we are in terms of strength, it's going to be exactly 5 pounds lighter than this in a lot of spots in the later weeks when we're doing singles with 84% and then singles with 86%. It's going to be exactly 5 pounds heavier. And so it's not the end of the world if I just did the exact same weight on the Monday and the Wednesday. But I do like it to make a progression. I would rather just incrementally bump it up, and we're not strong enough that we could do it with the different. Hey Hexas, thank you for the follow. Big nice. I'm not strong enough in the snatch and the clean and jerk where I would be making more than a 5 pound jump here. And so I kind of really like to be 5 pounds heavier, because like it's about progressive overload. But like if we come in here, can we just reset? Yeah, reload. If we come in here, we could show the kind of like the American school of powerlifting generally approaches overload kind of like this. It's going to be relatively linear, and then deload, and then like this. And this is the American school of how we overload overall. And these are like deload periods here in the down, but it's relatively linear. In that we're going 5 pounds heavier, 5 pounds heavier, 5 pounds heavier, 5 pounds heavier, deload week, 5 pounds heavier, 5 pounds, or this is an entire microcycle or macro cycle actually. So we're starting off at the beginning of our cycle in our lighter weight, back here, microcycle 1. And then over the course, we will get up to a much higher percentage from like 80 to whatever. And then from that, we come back down and we get a new starting point that's a little bit stronger. Obviously, the stronger you are, the less pronounced this will be a lot deeper. Like if you're like not putting in huge strength gains where it'll just be a little higher. But this is how we overload. Generally, it's like a linear fashion. Actually, think of this as a microcycle, right? Microcycle, 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 and then the macrocycle, we come back down here, and this will be a little bit taller because we set a new max, and then we do the whole thing again. Right? This is kind of like how Americans do it. Or this is like the American powerlifting school of thought, whatever. Actually, let's keep that here. Although the circles are ugly as hell. The Russians are much more stepladder, where they will do like this, and then boop. And so like which like this works too, but they'll have a much flatter band, or they'll use the same weight, and the weight will be hard initially, so the intensity will be higher initially. If we're thinking of it in terms of intensity, the intensity is gonna go down as you get more and more used to the weight, and then you're getting stronger, and then boop, we crank the weight up. And it's going to operate a little bit more like that. And so they take much less linear jumps is kind of the main point I'm getting at, where it's going to be more stepladdery jumps on the weights. But the overall trajectory is still going to look like the same. But the intensity band is going to be different, right? Because this is very intense. So maybe we think about it like this, where the intensity band for the Russian ones is gonna go down and then spike up, and then go down and then spike up, and then go down and then spike up, and look something like this. And then the intensity band for like the American way of doing it is gonna go a little bit more like this. Actually, it's just kind of like straight through. Like, if you just kind of ignore what the deloads look like, it's gonna look a lot more like this. So, yep. What's the goal of this program? We're trying to get strong on a 10 or 9 lift total, which is snatch, clean and jerk, bench, squat, deadlift, and one arm snatch and bench press. There's the bench press. So, Russian ethos is totally embracing pain every step. Yeah, something like that. The I mean, both methods work. They both work. It's also just like looks very similar. It's just the week to week looks a lot different. In some sense, like the Russian system has a deload built in here, right? And it's just reversed. The microcycle, what the microcycles look like is just like reversed, basically, where the microcycles with Russia, with like the Russian powerlifting system, they start off at the higher intensity and then the intensity goes down. And then the US system, the intensity starts low and then it picks up. But the critical part is that you need to have a period of lower intensity and a period of higher intensity. Because you can't just always be at high intensity. And also, the general trajectory is increasing it, which is true for both. So are you going for the linear progression? Yeah, ours is done more linearly. We will shift the weights up every week. Instead of, also our frequency is too low to like even step ladder, because we're only squatting like once every 2 weeks. Like it's not like we can have several squat sessions with the same weight. Or I guess we could. We have 2 week microcycles. We could squat the exact same weight, microcycles 1 through 3. And then I'm not even sure if the Russian system, they like deload. Like the deloading is happening throughout the microcycle, right? And then we just have a huge jump on microcycle 4. Russian use volume mesos as a deload. A mesocycle as a deload? Isn't a mesocycle like several microcycles plus a deload? That's my understanding of what a mesocycle is. I don't mean a deload from the entire program. I believe it's consistent across both of these that this period is going to be high volume for both Americans and Russians. And this period is going to have nearly no volume. How often are we training? We're going to be training. We're currently not really training, but we're going to be training 8 days every 2 weeks most of the time. So 4 days a week. And this is relatively conservative. The problem with having a ton of different exercises you want to do is you want to have the frequency high on them. And it's a little bit tough. Like snatch and clean and jerk, we just have to have the frequency way higher on these, which is why we're only deadlifting once every 2 weeks. I think I have bench in here. Bench is in here twice, or it's in here once a week. And so this is kind of what we're looking at. And then our progression here, this is like, in this mesocycle, if I recall my cycle names correctly, of, micro 1 through deload here, we're increasing volume. rather than starting off really high volume, which this is something that's kind of a little bit strange. We're starting off with like sets of 2, and the idea was I thought that it would lead into cycle to cycle. I thought it would transition better, was my idea here. So like this is kind of like the way training cycles like work on the rep ranges is often they start off really high rep ranges and then they come down. And what I was hoping to do, and then they go to really high rep ranges again, and then come down. So maybe actually they start off with really high rep ranges, then they come down, then they go back, and like this. And my idea behind this program, which I don't think is correct, or I don't really know if it's correct, or I think it's not right because no one else does it like this, I was like, what if we just do it like a wave and we stay in the lower band, generally speaking, because I'm not trying to add muscle as much. And to be fair, we could start at a higher rep, well, we're starting at a rep range of 2, which is basically close to the singles, right? And then we come up, and then we undulate back down like this instead. Except part of this is a 20-week training cycle instead of like and we could even get it up to like the 8s and the whatever. So if we were to build it like going up to the 8s, it would look a little bit like this. And I thought that having a longer training cycle might be worthwhile. And that's like one of the things is this training cycle is wildly long. And this is for the powerlifting specifically. And I don't think this is a good one for powerlifting specifically, necessarily. But in the context of trying to train 10 lifts at once, I thought that this might be smart. It was part of the underlying philosophy. You used to be a powerlifter, then you blew your back out. I used to be an adventurer, but then I took an arrow to the knee, basically, but of powerlifting. Yeah, so this is kind of the idea behind how we structured this initially. I've just never seen someone start off their training cycles with doubles that are relatively heavy, and then move to like sets of 4 and then sets of like I've never seen this like undulating pattern. Wouldn't higher volume increase accumulated fatigue, and that would lead to more frequent deload? So if the intensity band of we don't have our previous thing, we could have 2 things that high at once. We could have frequency high, volume high, or intensity high. So if the volume is up, we don't need to deload more often as long as the intensity is low. And then we keep the frequency relatively constant. However, towards the end of the program here, we are trying to push the intensity up higher, and we significantly decrease both the volume, but also we're only working out 3 days a week instead of 4 at the microcycles 8 and 9, so we're also cutting out frequency. Frequency. You can only have 2 high at once. I think I often, in high volume periods, try and push the intensity too much. And this is a mistake I think I make, generally speaking. It's not necessarily that it's super high, but it's maybe too medium on the intensity. because I really like hitting PRs, and so very often, and this is one of the like philosophies inside like what we're doing here in terms of our accessories, is we're trying to hit RPEE, but we're trying to hit PRs, and then often if we can't hit a PR at RPEE at 8.5 with the accessory, we'll often just slot in a new accessory. To be fair, the RPEs also here should actually like change over time. And we don't have it super dialed in that way. But one of the things that I do to try and offset some of this, or this is one of the reasons why I have so much accessories towards the beginning of the program when the volume is supposed to be high, and the accessories start getting cut out as we move through the program, is on accessories, overall intensity is lower. And so if more of our sets are accessories, this can help to bring down the intensity. Or this is one of the ideas. But I, psychologically speaking, in terms of like when I get into the gym, I just like want to lift super fucking heavy all the time, which is like you don't want to do if you're trying to push the volume. Would I consider splitting focus on different mesos? I'd consider it splitting it on macro. Not for this one, because this one's supposed to be the whole shebang, but I would consider doing like a powerlifting program with very little weightlifting elements just for maintenance, or a weightlifting program with very little powerlifting elements just for maintenance. The real problem is it's not just the 2 lift total. I'm also trying to bench press and 1 arm snatch. Yeah. That's what everyone does, ego lifting. A little bit. It feels good to lift heavy. I don't know. Sometimes it's also okay. Like if we feel like shit, we'll pull stuff back, and then if we feel really good, we'll sometimes do a little bit extra, but we try not to do that too much. We try and only do that in one direction, where we're pulling back, because we know that we have this tendency, but also this is like a large amount of volume in terms of sets. I reckon you're trying to do too many things at once. Yes, I would be better at any one of these things if I just did that individually. I would be better at powerlifting if I only powerlifted. I would be better at weightlifting if I only did that. Although I'm getting kind of old to get good at it. And I'd be better at oddlifts if I only did that. That is correct. But here's the problem. I'm trying to get generally strong. So we're gonna I know Max Ada advocates for alternating powerlifting, and this also is a reason why I think like my programming maybe is not the best. He argues that you should do like powerlifting, focus blocks, followed by blocks where you don't focus powerlifting. This is for Supertotal. And you switch off between these 2 blocks. And then the weightlifting, you just switch it to maintenance. And weightlifting, come up. I think he also argues that GPP periods should generally be a little bit longer for both of these, because you're more general as an athlete. I can't remember though. And Max Ada is, to my knowledge, the only person who's trained national champions in both weightlifting and powerlifting, although he hasn't trained anyone who's training both simultaneously, so this is maybe a red herring. You'd agree with this method more? Yeah, that's fair enough. And perhaps this would be superior to running 10-week cycles, where we have maybe 4 weeks of GPP, which is 40% of your time being GPP is real long. Although I guess it depends how GPP you are. like something like this, and then 6 weeks of emphasis, and then switching off what we're emphasizing. But to be fair, this program really doesn't have that much volume in terms of squats as well, or bench, or deadlift. This is much more weightlifting oriented. Well, I mean, I guess a lot of it's also just in accessories, but we can take a quick look through it. Like, the really hard part is that the Oddlifts blast your shoulders, bench blasts your shoulders, and so shoulder fatigue is the number one, like, the thing you just, like, overtrain on. Although, to be fair, I could put up more sets of squats, and then legs would maybe be the problem. But in some sense, I'm only squatting once every 2 weeks, benching once a week, and deadlifting every 2 weeks. And there is quite a bit of accessories, and so maybe that's the problem. There's too many accessories. But to some extent, my program already looks a little bit like this. Just the thing with Max Ada's model here is, where's the Oddlifts? The one arm snatch, the bent press, and the squat, or sorry, the one arms and the Turkish get up. How do we add these in this model? Do we just add? We're gonna have. Are we gonna have Oddlifts? Oop. Odd. Powerlifting. Or let's do weightlifting. Do we do this instead? My powerlifting base is also just way stronger, so I can kind of just like let that suck more, I think. Oh, my face might get in the way of this last one, the bottom right. I trust you'll be able to figure it out though. So we have powerlifting, and here powerlifting has to be down. Here powerlifting is up. And here it's down again. Okay, so what are we supposed to do here? Are we supposed to run 6 or 8 week programs? That's not a long period of time to overload, right? Because before, here we're talking a 20-week program. Or actually it ends up being like 24 weeks. It's nearly half the year. Maybe, you know what we maybe do? I think we'll just do microcycle 1, but we'll do 1 at 65% and then see how we feel, and then up it accordingly, and we'll just do microcycle 1 multiple times. But at a certain point, are we going to do these 12-week cycles or 10-week cycles? So we're hitting new PRs on something, you know, was it 3 times every 2 years, something like that? With the amount of exercises you have here, you could be accumulating a lot of systemic fatigue that might cripple you towards the end of your program. Yeah. No, this is, I think you are correct. That's why towards the end of the program, we cut out all the accessories for like a whole month, basically. And then this isn't even the end of the program. This is actually... We need to have deload 3, which is a 1 week. They're going to be 1 week deloads. I haven't decided what we're going to do during them. And then microcycle 10, which is probably going to be 2 weeks, and then max out period. So this would be the full program. But I haven't figured out what exactly we want micro 10 to look like. But this ends up being, was this 20, 21, 22, 23, plus max out, 24 weeks. Yeah, I mean, maybe we should have something more like this. The thing is like, I think if you just have 2 things, it's much more straightforward to do 12-week programs focusing on one and then focusing on the other. And that, like, or even 14-week programs. You also, as your training age increases, you want to have longer programs. But, like, bro, having, like, 36 to... and then adding, like, deload in between a little bit, or maybe not, like, I don't want to be maxing out on a lift once every 40 weeks. But maybe that's just a concession I should be making. Blah, 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 fam. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, this is fair. Maybe this is just not... I have to just pick one. So the thing is like, you just get way better if you specialize. But we're not... This isn't specialist strength. This is general strength. Through the lens of 1 rep maxes. But have you got a meet that you're trying to compete in? Not currently, no. There was a meet that's kind of coming up for powerlifting. I suppose maybe we could also just do this to start to get back into stuff. Just do microcycle 1 and maybe microcycle 2, and then switch to like an 8-week powerlifting program. I think there is a powerlifting meet in May. Although we're really coming up on that now, actually. That's somewhat local that we can maybe do. We don't have a meet in mind. If we had a meet in mind, though, we would do it. We would try and set up our programming so that this general program, we wouldn't do that. We would do like 12 weeks out. We would just run a full powerlifting program where, like, we would just like add to the end of it, like doing some like the like snatch balance, or it's like a couple snatch balances and like stuff like this, and like some the one where you go from the ground overhead but don't squat back down at all. What's it called? Shoot, I'm not gonna remember the name. Or actually, we probably have it in here somewhere, huh? Muscle snatch. So we'd probably just throw some of those in, throw like some tall jerks in, and like this type of thing, but basically just run a powerlifting program if we were prepping for a powerlifting meet specifically. The thing is, we're not prepping for a meet specifically. And the question is what makes us stronger for all of these lifts in like... What makes us stronger for all of these lifts in a span of 250 weeks? This is how we're looking at it. Oh my god, I can't spell on this thing. Like, if we have 250 weeks, should we just alternate these 3 programs repeatedly? Or should we do something that looks a little bit more like this? To be fair, this is like super not heavy on the powerlifting. Like, I don't think we're gonna push the powerlifting a lot with actually what our program looks like. So the powerlifting is maybe like this. Like with the one we're running, the powerlifting is maybe this, and the weightlifting is maybe this. and the Oddlifts is maybe this. Kind of how we look at it. But you've done a bit of swordsmanship training, not fencing, broadswords. You might enjoy that from a generalist perspective. So, I'm currently 31. I think if I'm going to get stronger, I have a window. 3 to 8 years. Which this is 5 years. This is like in the middle of that window. Of where I can peak in strength. And I think once I finish that, I'll transition to arm wrestling and BJJ. And maybe something like swordsmanship training. But, I think here we're in the get strong streets, where we're trying to be. But yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah, Hexas, I 100% think, this is something I've considered, and I 100% think you might be right, I'm just not sure. But also, like, I really just, like, would hate hitting new maxes every 40 weeks as a result of... Because if we're doing like a week like this, or if we're running a program like this where it's oddlift focused and not weightlifting and powerlifting focused, we will not max out on weightlifting or powerlifting at the end of this, right? Also, one of the programs this was modeled off of, to be fair, was you're trying to peak for a Supertotal comp. So if you're trying to peak for a Supertotal comp, you have to run both, right? You just can focus on one or the other, but if we were trying to peak for... In here, we're actually, in theory, trying to peak for a comp where we would do 9. Like, this is how the program's designed. But maybe that's not good for getting strong in 250 weeks. But, like, it would just suck to... Or, like, I don't like the... If we did this program, right, we would just... We do one of these, 12 weeks, we get maybe some new oddlift PRs. Then we do one of these, 12 weeks, we maybe get some new powerlifting PRs. Then we do one of these. We never hit a snatch PR again, because we can't do that anymore. But we try and hit a clean and jerk PR or something. I don't know, though. We've been kind of out from the streets a couple months, though. I think at the very least this will be decent. So... I also thought about getting coaching from Max Ada, so we maybe run this for like... Maybe this is just way too long a training cycle thing, too. Just looking at it and it being 24 weeks is like kind of nuts. This is probably actually not the program to get back into things with. I don't know. We have a week to figure it out. This is when we're planning on starting it. So I think we're gonna wrap up the streams though. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and etc. Mostly etc. I suppose we'll say goodbye to the YouTubers first. Bye bye now, YouTubers, because there's only 2 of you. And then for the Twitch people,